Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to talk about a book that is based on the French esoteric system of Papus, which was the magical name of Gerard Encausse. That is the book called Tarot Mages by G.O.Mebes. There is the book. This was published in 2020. It's quite a thick book. It's about 470 pages. This is a book that is based on the tarot system of Papus, of Gerard Encausse. And G.O.Mebes was the leader of the Russian branch of the order of the Kabbalistic Order of the Rose Cross, which was founded by Papus. Papus started an order in Russia, and Gregory Mebes was the leader of the Russian branch. So this book of Tarot Mages is completely based on the work of Papus. So this is all part of the French esoteric system. And for people who want to know about another book about the work of Papus, about the tarot, I would recommend Tarot of the Bohemians by Papus, and I have already done a review of this book on my channel, and I have a playlist now all about the French esoteric system for people who are interested. So you can find the review of this book on my channel, and there is also the playlist for the French esoteric system, people who are interested. Now, Tarot of the Bohemians is a more condensed version of this Tarot Mages book. So this book is useful for people who are interested in the French esoteric system in regard to the Tarot Mages. So if you would like a more detailed information about each of the mages based on the system of Papus, this is a good book in that way, that is quite easily available now. I have also done a review on my channel about the book by Mooney Sad, who also wrote about the Tarot Mages. That book is not as easy to get, but that is based on this Russian branch work of the Kabbalistic Order of the Rose Cross, Papus order. So if I just talk a little bit about what is in the book, it's all divided into each chapter on the Tarot Mages, and this is according to, of course, to the French order of the Mages, so that the first card is the Magician. And each of the chapters have a drawing. These are the drawings by Papus of the 22 major arcana. So you have the Papus sketch from his work for each of the major arcana cards. It also has the path of the Kabbalah for each of the mages as well, and the Hebrew letters according to the French system. There's a foreword here to the book that it's worth reading if you'd like to get a background. And for each of the major arcana cards, it It starts with the drawing by Papus for each of the cards, the Hebrew letter, the pathway for Kabbalah, and then there is a quote from Eliphas Levi. So for each of the major arcana cards, there's a quote from Levi. There is a quote from Paul Christian, who was a very important. Paul Christian was his magic name as well, Paul Christian. Just as Eliphas Levi, that was also his magical name. And there is a quote from Paul Christian as well. And then it goes into the information and the French esoteric spiritual teachings for each of the major arcana cards. Now, what was different about the teachings of Papus is there is also quite a bit of symbolism, numerology. Now, it's not the kind of numerology that came later, the kind of numerology that most people may associate with tarot. This is more of a Pythagorean mathematics. So anyone who knows anything about the Pythagorean system, it's really more about that. It's not about the contemporary idea of numerology with tarot that most people are familiar with now. Because you need to put this into the historical context of the time of Papus. And when I was mentioning the fact that there is a quote from Paul Christian as well as Eliphas Levi, they were absolute contemporaries of each other. They lived in like the exact times. So there is always a misconception that Papus was a contemporary of Eliphas Levi. He never knew him. Gerard Encausse was only 10 years old when Eliphas Levi died. He never knew Eliphas Levi, but Paul Christian did. He was an absolute contemporary. So I just wanted to mention that because there's quite a misconception about that. Papus was quite inspired and influenced by Eliphas Levi, but he was not a contemporary of his and he did not know him. He was born the generation after. There's an index in this book, which is really helpful. It's about 470 pages. And it's worth getting for people who want a more detailed information than is in Tarot of the Bohemians. I would definitely start with Tarot of the Bohemians first, because that will give you a general idea of the French system, esoteric system, according to Papus. That's why the subtitle to the Tarot of the Bohemians is Absolute Key to Occult Science. So this is the occult science of Papus. That is a great book, but I think it's a good idea to maybe start with that definitely, because otherwise you're going to find this book too detailed and probably too esoteric to be able to easily grasp. So I think it's worthwhile to get a detailed explanation of the work of Papus on the Tarot Mages. That, as I said, is relatively easily available. I actually prefer the book by Muni Sadhu, but for people who cannot get that, and that's very difficult to get, this is a very similar book. And I think that's the main thing that I want to say about this book. But there's diagrams in this book. There's commentary on each of the major arcana cards, only the major arcana cards, because the French esoteric system mainly worked with the major arcana. There is work on the minor arcana as well, and that is mentioned in Tarot of the Bohemians. So if you wanted commentary and detail about the minor arcana from the French esoteric perspective, Tarot of the Bohemians is better for that. But this book only focuses on the major arcana. There are references to Kabbalah in here. It's not heavily based on Kabbalah, because the French esoteric approach actually encompassed a wide range of spiritual approach. It definitely included Kabbalah, but doesn't have the same emphasis only on Kabbalah that the Golden Dawn did. And this is definitely quite a spiritual book. The Golden Dawn, in comparison, was more about magic. There was definitely spiritual development going on, but that came later. The spiritual development was particularly with the later branches of the Golden Dawn, after the original Golden Dawn had broken up, and people like Dion Fortune much later developed, in the 1920s, much later developed a far more spiritual and mystical approach to Kabbalah. But this has definitely got the Kabbalah in here, but it's from a different approach. So, as I was saying, this is worth getting, but it is not as accessible as Tarot of the Bohemians. I suppose I would say this book is for the fans, which is the same with the Muni Sadhu book. If you want a far more detailed book about the French esoteric approach to the tarot mages, this is the book for that. So I wanted to tell people about this today, for people who are interested and people who would like this more detailed information. But otherwise, there is Tarot of the Bohemians, which is a really great starting point. So I think I've said most about what I want to say about this today. I will put some videos on, so a few more videos will be coming over time on my playlist for the French esoteric system. I will put some information below the video as well, as I always do. So Tarot Mages by Gregory Mebes, from the Russian branch of the Kabbalistic Order of the Rose Cross, the work of Papus. So I'll put some details below the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.